How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age by Dale Carnegie. In this synopsis of a Dale Carnegie book, learn how to win friends and influence people in the modern world. Digital platforms are now an everyday occurrence, used for everything from supporting a political cause to keeping up with one's favorite band. The scenery is varied. Other areas are places for venting about that boss you can't stand or voicing your most recent complaint. Some areas are battlefields where opposing parties engage in combat in an effort to make their case. Then there are social media feeds, where even if you have tens of thousands of friends, you may not feel the deep connection you desire for. You may now communicate with more people than ever thanks to the variety of options at your disposal. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're in a better position to influence people's attitudes or actions. Here are 8 essential suggestions to help you persuade others in the digital era and win their friendship. 1. Attacking others will undermine your influence. Author Dale Carnegie was an expert at persuasion. He was aware that everyone has an innate desire to protect themselves. Since the beginning of human history, this instinct has helped us survive and served us well. The instinct to become defensive when we feel attacked, including when our ego is being attacked, comes along with it though. For this reason, criticizing or condemning someone will not cause them to change their opinion. The moment you convey displeasure through your words or your body language, the other person will either stop talking to you or start firing back. Once that happens, you won't be able to convince them to change their mind. You will therefore forfeit your ability to influence people. Carnegie was aware of this and established the 3 rules that begin with the letter C to help him stay away from it. He never judged people, berated them, or expressed discontent. Despite the fact that Carnegie lived in an era before the advent of the digital age, these ideas still hold true today, when we can use platforms like social media to reach larger audiences quickly and cheaply. Many people view social media as a tool for persuasion, but many approach its use improperly. If you look at the comments area of any blog post or story about a hot topic, you'll see opposing sides hurling insults at one another. With each party strengthening their defenses because they are under attack, all this does is further polarize the parties. Therefore, the first thing you must do is alter your own behavior if you wish to demonstrate a point or alter someone else's perspective. Start by using social media as a way to inspire others to support the topics you are passionate about rather than as a way to vent your annoyance, disapproval, or anger. But watch out for spreading orthodoxy about your cause, otherwise, people will start ignoring you. After all, there is no lack of alternative content available online. Next, develop your restraint. Avoid responding for at least 5 minutes when you come across content that makes you feel triggered or reactive. This will provide you the time and room to relax that you require. As soon as you're at ease, you may center yourself on Carnegie's 3C rules and address the matter without getting angry. Key concept 2, to win someone over, give them a sense of worth. Businessman from Georgia named Mr. Bates frequents Bones in Atlanta on a regular basis. He travels the 70 miles each time one of his out-of-town suppliers pays a visit. On his second trip to Bones, he had a single encounter that served as the inspiration for his loyalty. It was a pleasure to see Bates again. The waiter greeted him by name. This individualized service astounded Bates. The server had taken the effort to not only learn Bates' name but also inquire as to whether Bates had ever eaten at Bones. Bates felt incredibly cherished, thanks to the individualized attention, which was a great marketing move that helped the restaurant become very well liked. By showing that you appreciate them as separate persons rather than just nameless faces in the crowd, learning people's names makes them feel cherished. You may show someone you've taken the time to pay attention and memorize their name by using their name. Between the two of you, this creates a link. The difficulty of remembering someone's name has increased since Carnegie's time. Our brains have been rewired to quickly scan information as a result of our constant scanning through social media feeds. It requires effort and attention to learn a name, though. Not only will it make others feel appreciated, but because so few people these days are able to do it, it will also make you stand out as exceptional. Since so few individuals take the effort to do so, building stronger relationships with others by learning their names will set you apart as a leader. Another potent tactic that makes people feel highly appreciated is listening. Being heard makes us feel understood, and understanding makes us want to be heard. And since listening intently to people conveys that you value them, it is the cornerstone of many psychoanalytic techniques. But listening has also suffered as a result of the digital revolution. Thousands of Facebook friends and Twitter followers are common, yet those friendships frequently lack depth. Only 50% of people said they had a friend they could rely on, according to a 2004 American Sociological Review research. Comparing this to a study done in 1985, there was a 25% decrease. While these figures highlight the serious issue of social isolation, they also highlight the good influence that can be had by just listening to others. Asking thought-provoking questions every day and paying attention to the responses will help you develop the habit of interacting with others. You'll regain their appreciation and sense of worth by doing this. Key concept 3: Strive for peace when there are differences of opinion. Before, you had to insult someone directly if you wanted to say something to their face. That caused you to pause before acting because you knew you would have to deal with the consequences, which could include facing criticism from those who witnessed the commotion you had generated or being attacked in return. Online, you can defame someone without ever having to look them in the eye or even show your identity. You're free to look for, start, or encourage disputes online with people you've never even met. But neither criticism nor leveling charges at someone changes their viewpoint or behavior. You need to adopt a different strategy if you want to change people's minds. Instead of trying to win debates, change how you approach problem solving by looking for areas of agreement. You are more likely to de-escalate anger and come up with solutions that are agreeable to everyone if you approach disagreement as an opportunity to work together to solve problems. You'll have to defy convention if you choose this course of action. Everyone works individually to achieve their own particular goals in our society, which is focused around the individual. Esther Gels, a behavioral specialist, has discovered that working together yields superior outcomes in any case, particularly when it comes to interpersonal issues like persuading others to support a particular cause. The group is in the best position to identify the optimal answer when multiple people offer their viewpoints on a problem. In order to put this into practice, be prepared to listen to those whose opinions may differ from your own rather than debating or condemning them. It's difficult to listen to people whose beliefs conflict with your own, of course, when it comes to hot-button topics. But by adhering to a few guidelines, you'll establish a setting where open disagreement can be replaced with two-way communication. First and foremost, always be kind and considerate. Even if you are certain that you are correct, telling someone they are mistaken just serves to damage their ego and put them on the defensive, destroying any opportunity you may have of getting them to consider your point of view. Second, make an effort to consider things from their perspective. From their current vantage point, things can appear entirely different. Depending on how you view the situation, consider the potential that you might both be correct. Finally, be modest in your approach. Recognize that you could be mistaken. Your relationship with the other party will be strengthened as a result, increasing the likelihood of a favorable outcome. Principle 4. Use the influence of yes to your advantage. Before the advent of the internet, people developed friendships, relationships, and connections through having conversations and learning about one another's interests. Social media, however, has altered this tendency. We can learn about someone's interests, passions, and political viewpoints without ever meeting them. We can simply visit their Facebook page instead. Social networking also brings together people who share common interests. You can connect with a virtual community of people you share interests with even if you haven't met them every time you follow an account dedicated to an artist, celebrity, or cause. Similar to this, whether you've met the individuals you follow in person or not, your blog or social media account gives you the chance to engage with them. It's similar to them saying yes to you when someone follows you. Once you get this first affirmative response, you can then try to persuade the follower. People gain a positive outlook and become more receptive when they answer yes. Therefore, the more yeses you get from someone, the more power you have over them. This yes strategy was employed by Microsoft when creating Windows 7. It was aware that Apple posed a formidable rival, and it also needed to win back customers following the embarrassing failure of its last offering, Windows Vista. Microsoft made no attempt to imitate Apple's sophisticated marketing strategies. Instead, it published a request on YouTube for people to give them videos with the theme "I'm a PC," and each person who sent in a clip was essentially saying yes to Windows. Microsoft put these movies together through editing and used them to introduce its newest marketing initiative. Microsoft demonstrated its commitment to its consumers by incorporating them in internet advertisements. By encouraging a second yes, this value turned consumers into brand promoters who spread the commercials around their social networks. This marketing also heavily relied on empathy. Microsoft gathered user input to direct the creation of Windows 7. As a result, they added a tagline to their advertising that credited consumers with the concepts underpinning Windows 7. Microsoft was able to harness its fans' affirmations to fuel its marketing effort by taking the time to learn what customers wanted from their product and make their contributions public on social media. Concept 5. True influence does not serve the self. People frequently believe that the greatest way to advance is to take all the attention or credit they can in our victory-obsessed culture. But acting in this manner would drastically reduce your capacity to persuade people. After all, building relationships is the foundation of real influence. Think of your best friend as an example. Does that person make you feel valued and cared for, or do they talk incessantly about themselves? What about the most effective boss you've ever had? When your efforts were successful, did they take all the credit or did they acknowledge everyone's contributions? Contrary to popular belief, when we openly give credit to others, we ultimately reap greater rewards on a personal and professional level. How do you feel about your kindest friend or your manager who compliments you in front of the CEO? You have the strongest loyalty to these people, and you will go to great lengths to support them. The biggest persuasive power comes from credit that is given away through an expression of true gratitude, since it doesn't seem like flattery intended to persuade someone to do something. When the winner takes the stage to deliver their acceptance speech during an award ceremony, you may witness this style of credit giving in action. The speeches when the winner thanks everyone who helped make them successful are the most moving. The winner's gracious words frequently bring those folks to tears if they are in the audience and the camera pans to them. You may be sure that they'll exert all effort to support the winner in their upcoming endeavor. Instead of concentrating just on your personal objectives, you start to create a community that genuinely wants to support its members in living their greatest lives. We've all heard the proverb that says you may succeed by surrounding yourself with successful people. But what if you decided to support your friends instead of trying to get success by piggybacking on successful people who don't care about you? It makes sense to encourage your friends since they will be more invested in your ambitions than strangers will be. You'll also strengthen your relationships by doing this. Key Concept 6. To motivate others, Project Positivism. News that is harmful quickly spreads in the digital age. A single tweet or email can instantly spread depressing news to thousands of recipients. Additionally, evolution has conditioned us to dwell on the negative just as it has conditioned us to be protective. It makes sense that bad things should be taken seriously because they may be harmful. However, this tendency extends beyond events to persons as well. We tend to focus on a person's flaws or undesirable actions rather than their favorable traits. You must consider this if you want to persuade people, especially while breaking unpleasant news. You will occasionally need to give performance feedback if you are a leader who oversees a team. Leaders frequently make the error of focusing immediately on an employee's flaws or inadequacies. Even if you support your critique with a compliment, your employee will still perceive it as a failure. Additionally, a person's performance will suffer as soon as they start to feel like a failure. You must support your employees' good feelings if you want them to develop. Trent Lorcher, a basketball coach, was a pro at it. He would fight the urge to yell at his players when his team lost a crucial game after missing free throws. Instead, he commended them for playing aggressively and earning the free throws. He then had them practice free throws for an hour, giving them more practice in addition to praise to help them regain their confidence. The compliments and further practice helped them regain their confidence. The reason Lorcher's strategy was successful was that it began with a real positive, the fact that the squad had actually won the free throws. The group understood that this was undeniable and that it wasn't just flattery to cover up criticism. In addition, Lorcher provided his team with a training session solely focused on free throws as a means of advancement. This demonstrated to the group Lorcher's confidence that, with a little more preparation, they could be successful the following time. The only choice Lorcher had in a circumstance like his was to deliver feedback in person. However, it can be alluring to send criticism via email in settings where employees work from desks. Few individuals actually love criticizing others in front of them, after all. However, if you want to positively influence a team, you should always give feedback in person because there is a natural flow to the dialogue that is impossible via email. Your compliments will sound more real, which will make your employee more responsive. Principle 7. Change your perspective on failure to empower others. Failure was the focus of the Harvard Business Review's April 2011 issue, a subject that most of us find unsettling. The article examined a wide range of failure-related topics, such as how to comprehend, learn from, and move past failure. However, it's odd that avoiding it wasn't mentioned. Failure will affect every element of your life at some point, frequently more than once. You don't get hired at your dream company or make the high school football team. Your passion project fails, or your crush picks someone else. Additionally, your failings might now be much more widely known than in the past, thanks to the internet. Given that we all encounter failure, it's strange that we don't offer more encouragement to those who fail. However, it's actually in your best interest to be encouraging, particularly if the person who failed is someone for whom you are accountable, such as a teammate or relative. You must alter your perspective on failure if you want these folks to rebuild their self-confidence and prevent any performance degradation in the long run. Employees feel empowered to explore and develop when a workplace recognizes that mistakes are unavoidable and present an opportunity to learn. They also feel more at ease admitting failure earlier, so you will be made aware of any possible problems before they worsen. Open communication is the first step in fostering resilience in the face of failure. Don't only talk about errors or dead ends as they occur. Before your team begins working on a project, consider the several ways it could go wrong. Any stigma associated with failure will go once people realize it is a possibility. Never confuse a failed project with the individual who worked on it. For instance, after an executive spent a year working on a new magazine, it failed, and her supervisor made a point of complimenting her in public. He noted that the idea had received support from senior management and that the magazine's marketing and content were outstanding. The executive was able to maintain her motivation because to this separation from the magazine. Your team's reaction to failure will depend on the assistance you give them. Make the decision to be a leader who empowers staff members when projects fall short of expectations. Principle 8. Performance is improved by success celebration. A Facebook profile for Wallace Pope, a single father who had worked at a Best Western in Chicago for years, was created by Best Western Hotels in 2010, and over 2,700 people visited it in just the first week. The Best Western intended to do everything in its power to ensure that Pope won the Stars of the Industry Award, which honors the worth of exceptional staff. After all, Pope's optimistic outlook and radiant smile had brought them innumerable repeat clients. But more importantly, the Facebook page gave users a platform to thank Pope for his outstanding job. A person will naturally keep up the action that earned them the praise. However, most people have a tendency to quit engaging in positive behaviors if they aren't appreciated. Thus, it is crucial to give an employee compliments if you want to motivate them. It's not only about making someone feel good when you praise them. One of the 12 signs of success in the workplace, according to Marcus Buckingham and Kurt Kaufman, writers of First, Break All the Rules, is consistently complimenting colleagues. However, not all compliments are made equal. If you want to regularly praise your staff to improve performance, you must do so in a powerful way. First, always be truthful and explicit in your compliments. A broad thank you will be perceived as civility, but if you tell a worker that you value his constant use of a grin while greeting clients, the specificity of your compliment ensures that it has an effect and promotes that behavior. Second, give praise right away. The optimal moment to offer praise is immediately after observing positive conduct or learning of an accomplishment. This forges a strong link between the action and your praise. Praise won't be as effective if you wait until a staff meeting or performance evaluation. And finally, publicly congratulate your team members, as Best Western did for Pope. When you publicly express your appreciation for someone's work, they will feel greatly valued and motivated to work even harder. It's important to keep in mind that when you compliment someone, you're also expressing your appreciation for them. And by doing this, you'll gain the loyalty and dedication necessary for success. Final thoughts. These summaries' main takeaway is that more individuals than ever can be accessed and influenced, thanks to the internet. You can build a following to support the topics you're passionate about by joining online groups or creating your own blog and social media platforms. But you won't get support or shift people's perspectives unless you handle this in a way that doesn't alienate others by shutting them out or stoking confrontation. You must develop the ability to genuinely connect with others by remaining composed, objective, and upbeat if you want to succeed. By clicking the link in the description box, you can purchase a copy of the book on Amazon if you found this summary to be helpful and are curious to learn more.